Hello, I'm Randy Kleiner, the co-founder and CEO of SeriesFest, and welcome to the Q&A for the Boyfriends in our independent pilot competition for comedy. Please welcome this very special group of creatives and actors, starting with Noam Ash, creator, writer, actor, Mike Heslin, producer, actor, Isaiah Frizzell, actor, and Jay Armstrong Johnson, actor. All right, Noam, I'm gonna kick it off with you. And I would love to hear kind of how this project came to be.
Yeah, so Boyfriends is based on a web series that I started when I was still in college called My Gay Roommate. It was back in the early days of YouTube, 2012. You know, we were pioneers. There were very few scripted web series at the time. And we just wanted to do something fun. We made like a cute little 3-minute video, put it on YouTube, and it sort of exploded. And that's when we realized that, oh, there's actually something here. There's a really cool concept. There's something that a relationship that hasn't been explored much that people are responding to. So we kept going. And after 3 seasons, we finished our 3rd season with almost 10 million views. And we were like, okay, it's time to take it to the next level. We decided to turn it into a full half-hour pilot, and we teamed up with Keshet Studios and Ish Entertainment, and that's the pilot we're sharing with you today.
And what about the story itself? What was kind of the genesis of the story?
So the story was based, it's an exaggerated version of my college experience. My college roommate is straight, was straight, is straight. You know, no one could really believe that we were just best friends. Everyone kept thinking that I must secretly have a crush on him or that he's secretly gay. And I went to a very liberal school. I went to Tufts University. But even there, people like couldn't wrap their heads around the idea that a gay guy and a straight guy would just be friends. And we thought that was really funny and really bizarre, and that no one had really explored. You know, whenever it was on screen, there was always like either some sort of homophobia where the straight roommate was like, oh my God, like we can be roommates, just like don't look at me naked, or, you know, some stupid joke. Or the gay guy was like secretly pining and in love. And I was like, that's really weird because most of us aren't like that. We just exist in the world with people who are different than us, and it's not always such a big deal. So decided to write a show about it.
Love that. And absolutely. I think, you know, it's so funny, like coming from, I went to school at NYU. I mean, everybody there just sort of interacted, but it's so true in the rest of the world, it's just not the case. And I love that you bring this story to life because I think so many people, you know, feel it and have the similar reactions.
Yeah, and I think that the more we normalize it, right, the more it actually becomes the reality that we live in. Not to diminish other shows that portray very real things like homophobia, discrimination, other forms of prejudice. That absolutely exists and deserves its attention. But there was also a part of me that felt that if we're only telling those stories, that's also the narrative that we're reinforcing and we're putting it out in the world. And so it was important to me to put a story out there that shows not only how the world fortunately is for me, but how it can be for everyone.
I love that. And Mike, as a producer, how did you get involved?
Yeah, so Noam and I have been friends for years. We were friends before this, and I knew about My Gay Roommate on YouTube, and but he started to mention that he was planning to turn it into a longer scripted version, and started writing this pilot and said that he possibly had written a role for me. And yeah, I love the character of Rupert from day one. It was incredible. But besides acting in it, Boyfriends was the beginning of our working relationship, I guess. Since then, we've started Wellverse Entertainment, our production company, and are working on several other things right now. So it started out with friendship, and then as these things go in our business, you know, those lines kind of blur, and we've been working together kind of ever since.
Or into business, to be clear.
Sorry?
Or into business, to be clear.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I guess that's a good clarification. Or not, keep the audience guessing.
And Jay, how did you get involved in the project and what drew you to your character?
I'm pretty sure Noam like showed up to my album release party.
Yep.
I had just done my first season of Quantico, and I used those funds, like TV funds. Oh, I'd never seen those before. So I used those to produce a few concerts, and I did a live album. And Noam showed up to my album release party and was like, hey, I'm producing this pilot and I want you to play my co-star. And I didn't even blink. I mean, I think I said yes pretty much immediately. And then in researching the project more, what interested me is, one, he allowed me to play a straight character, which, these days, the only thing I'm being called in for are gay characters, and we love, like, I will play them to the day I die. I love being gay. But to get the opportunity to step into a straight role, where gay guys don't really get much of opportunity to do that, we don't really get much of an opportunity to do gay roles. Most straight people are playing the major roles and major motion pictures and getting awards for them. So this felt like a cool opportunity to actually explore that part of myself. And then Noam, the way he sold it to me is how he's kind of flipping the switch on norms. So the Glee Club are the cool kids and the sports people are the geeks. And so I just love that idea to kind of take the world that is we normalize and say, no, it's actually this way. So that's what drew me to it even more, I think.
I love that. The mean acapella gang is like the funny, cracks me up every time you come on. And Isaiah, what about you? How did you get into it, and what kind of inspired your role for you?
Oh man, so it was kind of like serendipitous, and I talked to Noam about this when we have the chance. But it was, so I had auditioned for it, I think back in, I'd say like November, October 2016, and I didn't hear anything. I was like, okay, another audition down, cool. And my buddy, Joe, who was also a part of this project, he texted me, I think it was like early January. He's like, hey, where are you? What are you doing? What's going on? I'm like, nothing, dude. I'm in Jersey. He's like, would you want to read for this project? He's like, a buddy of mine is producing this pilot. Would you want to be a part of it? I was like, what's the name of it? He was like, it's called My Gay Roommate. I was like, My Gay Roommate. I was like, why does this sound so familiar? I was like, wait, dude, I auditioned for this a while ago. I was like, I didn't hear anything. I was like, I auditioned for this already. It didn't happen. He was like, wait, really? I was like, yeah. So he hit me back. He was like, can you be in the city like within the next couple of hours? I was like, dude, say less. I got on got to the city. I met Noam that day. I think I met Mike and Jay on set. But yeah, we had a read through right there, and like the rest was history. But it was just
what was crazy, Isaiah, is that we had never seen your audition tape. It literally was really one of those things where not just shitting. Can I say that? I don't know if I can say that.
Yes, you can curse.
Okay, great. Not shitting. We never saw the tape.
Yeah,
We were looking for someone to play the role, and we were really struggling to find the right person. And then my friend, our mutual friend, but my friend Joseph was like, oh, I have a really good friend. His name's Isaiah. He showed me his picture. I was like, oh my God, he looks perfect for the role. I watched his reel. I was like, oh my God, he's so talented. Bring him in. And then Isaiah was like, I already auditioned for this. You didn't want me. And I was like, what? Like, I've never seen you before in my life. And it was one of those weird technology things where, but he walked in, he nailed the audition, and he was on set 2 days later.
Whoever tried to sabotage you in the first place, you're laughing in their face now, because that clearly is meant to be. Whatever computer gods.
Such a cool experience, and I think playing Dom, a lot of who he is kind of resonates with me in a lot of ways. Like, the dude has layers, and I really appreciate that, especially being like, a person of color, seeing someone on screen that is just not one note, and there's a lot of color and essence to who he is. And, just having that opportunity to kind of play and, lean into the whole camaraderie and friendship, the importance of that. This is one of my favorite characters, I think, so far in my career, for sure. Yeah.
Amazing. So it was so beautifully shot. I mean, this is one of, this to me, this pilot feels like it's ready to go. It certainly has high production quality. It's interesting visually and striking. I was wondering if you could speak a little bit to the approach to that and kind of what the production process itself was like.
Yeah, so really gotta hand that off to our director and DP. So the two different people, our director and our DP. So our director was Darren Stein, and he, you might know him as the writer and director of Jawbreaker. And working with Darren was just absolutely incredible. You know, it was very important for me to work with a director who would take the show and make it their own and have their vision. And Darren did that, but also in a way where, you know, he would make decisions and then he would come check in with me and be like, does that feel right as the creator? Like, am I in the right direction? He always checked back in with me. And I never had anything to say. I was just like, yeah, no, it's good. It's good. keep going. But he really created a really amazing space for us to be able to film this. I also have to give a huge shout out to the cast because we had a very limited time to shoot this. We shot the entire pilot in 4 days. We all slept up at Long Island University is where we shot it. And it was not like a typical TV shoot where you might be able to do a take 5 or 6 times. Like we didn't have the time. We didn't have the money to do it. So, you know, we had to read, people had to rehearse and then just like come in and just go. And then our DP was Jonathan Hall, who's an amazing DP, and he worked with Darren on several shows. They both flew, several films, excuse me. He was the cinematographer for GBF, Gay Best Friend, which is one of Darren's films. And they had a really close working relationship. So they had those shortcuts. And they, you know, they just, before the shoot, they, you know, did like a mood board. They showed me different clips from different shows that they were drawing upon. And they were like, we want to do it, some parts of it handheld to make it feel, you know, that sort of unsteady sort of feeling and chaotic energy. They came up with all the swoofs between. They're just amazing. You know, they really did their research and they showed up and they just executed it beautifully. And I'm really, really thankful.
I love that. There are so many fun ensemble scenes or just funny moments. And I wanted to go to each of you real quickly. If you could tell me either like something really funny that happened on set or your favorite fun moment to do. I'll keep it very open-ended, so make it easy. Mike, you're on the spot.
Okay. I think one of my favorite memories, and it was the first scene the four of us shot together, was our first scene in the pilot, the four of us in the locker room. And I burst in like with like these under eye patches, and because Rupert's like very metrosexual and trying to keep it young, even though he's like in his, you know, in college. But the patches kept falling off, so we had to keep reapplying them. I think I went through like a 30 pack by the time we were done with that scene. So by the time we were just like cackling and breaking character as we were shooting. And then by the time the scene was over, I felt like I had taken 10 years off. I was like glowing. But that whole scene was fun. It was also like setting the dynamic between the four of us. And yeah, that was just a ridiculous, great time.
I love that. Isaiah, what about you?
I think my favorite scene was probably the party scene at the end. I remember production for that whole process and just seeing how crazy and chaotic it was. And I was just like, I wonder how this is going to come together. And to see the finale, I was like, hell yeah, this makes perfect sense. Like between the water, the glitter, everything, it was just like, it was beautiful chaos. And I think I don't know, it was something about it that I really enjoyed. The scene where we use Jay as a battering ram. It's just like, yes, I loved all of it because it was so ridiculous, but at the same time, it just worked. And it was fun. It was fun. I think that was one of the last scenes, right? We shot that night, wasn't it?
I think we wrapped after that.
We wrapped that. So we went out with a bang, literally. It was cool.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
for sure. That moment's so great because you play with us, you know, you see the first drink get thrown and it's glitter, and then you come around and actually throw a drink on someone, and it's such a nice little like
Yeah.
It works so well.
Cool.
Don't mind my drumming skills. Jay, what about you?
Isaiah actually stole mine, so I'm gonna go with my number 2. I love getting to reconnect with Jen Damiano. I've known her since I was about 20 years old. And so to be able to play her boyfriend was like super funny. We were giggling the whole time because, I'm a gay man and she's known me since I was 19, 20. But the scene, our makeout scene that then ends in a little bit of shit, shall I say, was really, really hilarious. I enjoyed the ad-libbing that Noam gave us, like the opportunity to do. But yeah, that scene was fun, mostly because Jen and I couldn't keep it together because we were making out, and then shit's funny.
Shit's funny. That should be your tagline for this pilot. No, was there a standout moment for you on set?
Oof. I mean, I have to say, I will just piggyback off of two of the things that we're saying. One is just watching back, because I would run in to do the poop smear, and then I would run out, and I could look at the monitor, and just watching Jen Damiano. Oh my god, and Jay, I mean, I think we had to do it several times because I was laughing outside. Everyone was like, "No, shut up!" Like, it was take, and I just couldn't keep it. I couldn't keep it together. And then also the moment that Isaiah was talking about with the glitter, that was one of those magical things that happened on set because we had a very tight schedule, and of course I had to write the most complex party scene that involves human battering rams, everyone getting wet, so that means that hair and makeup, like we didn't have a lot of time to do it, so we could only do the take with the water, beer, right? But it was water. We could only do it once because then everyone would be wet and we'd have to start all over again, and we didn't have that time. So the glitter was supposed to be just for practice, and we were just supposed to use it to get the choreo down. But then we loved it so much, we ended up keeping it and then only switching to that one final take of water at the very end. And I'm pretty sure that was Darren's idea.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those moments where I was like, the total is greater than the sum of its parts. We just it was the constraints of production, the creativity of the moment, and we just sort of put it all together, and it's one of my favorite parts of the pilot now.
I love that. I think it's one of the kind of great things sometimes about having to shoot things independently are that constraints breed creativity, and you come up with all sorts of ideas because you're having to work around or work within small budgets or confinements or time, and it becomes a better product because of it. And I think that moment is such a great example. Like I can't even imagine it any other way. It's so perfect. All right, one final quick question. Noam, what's next? What are your next steps for this project, and where do you want to see it go?
Yeah. Yeah, so our hope for this pilot is that people really watch it and enjoy it, and that we get to make a full series of this. We've planned an entire first season that's completely sort of ready to go, and plans for a second and third and hopefully fourth season. But our dream for this is to be able to make more of this so that we can help create this reality for young people everywhere, so that this becomes the new normal of what people expect when they're going to college, when they're going out to the world, that this becomes the world that we live in.
I love that. That's a perfect note to end on. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, our audience, for watching and tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.